Hey guys, it's Jen here from Jen Around the World, a website dedicated to helping you live your life to the fullest, one adventure at a time. And today our adventure is taking us on the road and talking about travel apps. Now, I don't know about you, but my phone is full of travel apps. I'm talking Priceline, Southwest.com, TripAdvisor, like there's so many different apps that I have, but there are 5 particular apps that I want to talk to you about today that I use when I travel that helps me cut money on my flight cost. Now, I fly a lot. I go to a lot of conferences to help with my blogging and my writing and my food photography, and so I always have to travel to these, and 90% of them I have to fly. I don't get to drive that often just because of where I live. I'm centrally located, and most of these are either on the East Coast or the West Coast, and so I always usually have to fly. So I'm constantly looking for ways to save money on my flight costs. And there's 5 apps that I use. Are you ready? Let's talk about them. All right, the first app that I always use when I fly is my Southwest.com app. I am a huge supporter of Southwest. I love them. I've written numerous posts about them. Normally when I fly, I choose Southwest. And the reason for that is because their prices are the lowest normally that there is on the internet with airports and airlines. They excuse me, they offer super low fares during the year to different locations. You can get round trip flights sometimes to like Florida for $100, and you just can't beat that. So I usually choose the Southwest.com. I have a Rapid Rewards account, which means that every time I fly and I choose to use them, I get points rewarded for that, and then in the end I can use those points toward future flights. And so far every year I fly enough that I can pay for at least 2 of my flights through my points, which is awesome. The second reason why I love Southwest is because they don't charge any fees if you need to change your flights. I flew United once with a friend of mine, and we had some issues. She had to fly home early, and I had to fly home early because I didn't want to stay in New York by myself, and United charged me over $200 just to change my flight to where I could leave and get home, and it was a big mess. It was huge. So anyway, Southwest doesn't do that. Southwest doesn't charge you any fees for having to switch your flight around unless the flight is more expensive, and then all you have to do is pay the difference. For example, last year I needed to change my flight 3 times, and none of those times did Southwest charge me anything. In fact, one flight I had to completely cancel, and instead of them telling me that my money was not going to be given back to me, they saved it, and I was able to use it for a future flight, and it was good for up to a year. If you don't use that money within a year, then it is gone. They don't charge for baggage fees, which means that I can check up to 2 bags, 50 pounds each, and it's free of charge. I know United charges $35 for the first bag, $25 for the second, and when I go to conferences, there's so much swag that they give you when you go that you have to take a large suitcase. So I always take one large suitcase and put a carry-on inside of that one, and so then I have something to carry all my swag home, and it doesn't cost me anything. So yeah, I'm a huge supporter of Southwest. The only thing that I don't like about Southwest is their boarding. You board in groups, there's no specified seating, but I tend to overlook that because everything else is so amazing, and I've never had any issues with a Southwest flight. Their attendants are wonderful. I can't sing their praises enough. They're very pet friendly. Like, they're everything I could have wanted in an airline, and so I love using their app to save money. All right, now if for some reason that I'm not going to be flying Southwest, and it does happen occasionally, if my husband is flying with me, he loves to fly first class, or if I am heading somewhere where Southwest is really not the hub and their prices are not cheaper, which is not that often, then I will go to my second app, which is Priceline.com. I love Priceline. We have a little regional airline about 20 minutes from where I live, and so when I fly that airline, it's always United, and the DBA something, I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, it's United. And so I'll use my Priceline app with that because they offer the express deals. And if I'm flying out of the little regional airport here, I can save a lot of money that way. A lot of times the express deals will be about $100 less than just a normal ticket. And what the express deal is they will give you, they will put you on a flight, but it could be at any time during that day or any time during the return trip. Like, you don't get to specify what time you leave, but I know the flight plans at my little regional airport, so most of the time I get on the one that's early in the morning, which is the one that I want. But you just have to be open to leaving at an unknown specified time during that day. You're still leaving on the day that you want to and coming home the day you want to. It's just the timing may be different, but it saves you like $100, $200 sometimes, so it's worth it. Another app that I use is called the Hopper app. Now, I love the Hopper app because it shows you all the different rates of the flights that you're taking. Like, it puts them all. The only one that's never included in any of these is Southwest, I guess because it's already cheaper. But like a Delta, American, Jet, all the rest of them, United, they're all listed. So what you'll do is you'll put the dates in that you're traveling, the to and the day you're coming home, and what it does is it scans all of those flights. Now, the reason that I like the Hopper app is because it shows you the prices, it predicts prices. So if it's saying that like this week this is your price, next week your price could be $100 difference if you wanted to go then instead of now. So you just kind of, it helps you kind of look around and see without having to keep putting in different dates and that sort of thing. It's really the coolest app. It's called the Hopper. Okay, so let's talk about the next app. The next app that I use is called Skiplagged. Now, what Skiplagged does is it checks all the flights. Now, sometimes when you use the apps and websites of the airlines, they don't show you all the flights. There's a lot of flights that kind of get swept under the rug. I don't know why, but they do. I have checked it out. I've double checked it against what's shown, and sometimes there's one or two flights that just don't get listed. So the Skiplagged app will show you exactly all the flights in one location, and their prices are really good. So, and you can set an alert to tell you when a flight price changes, and so it will help you to save money. So we've talked about Southwest, we've talked about Hopper, we've talked about Skiplagged. Let's talk about, oh, and we talked about Priceline. So let's talk about Expedia.com. I use Expedia as well. Expedia reminds me a lot of like Priceline, but sometimes those sites will have different prices, so you might be able to get a better pricing. I like Expedia because they offer you, like down at the bottom of their site, they'll have different destinations from your actual flight place and from your airport, and so they'll tell you like you can stay here with hotel and car for like $89 flight round trip. It's really cool, and so I check them out occasionally to see, and sometimes I use them and save money too. So there you go. There are my 5 apps: Southwest, Priceline, Expedia, Hopper app, and Skiplagged. Now, if you're like me and you love to travel, you have to put forth all the work to make sure that you save the best amount of money that you can. And so I'm all the time using apps to save money. Next week, I'm going to tell you about what I use to save money on hotels when I travel, because there are certain things you can do to save money, and sometimes it doesn't even include a hotel. So I bet you're wondering what that is, aren't you? You'll just have to wait till next week to find out. Until then, you guys have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye.